Hi, in this video, we will be looking at solving non-monic quadratic equations by completing the square. Now, what are non-monic equations? If you take a look here, non-monic equations are those where the coefficients of x squared is really not 1. So let me just highlight this. Coefficients of x squared is not 1. So if you look at this example here, the coefficient of x squared is 2, so this is considered non-monic. Now, how do we deal with non-monic quadratic equations? The first thing that we try to do is to divide every term by the coefficient of x squared. Why do we do that? It's because we want to complete the square later on, and by dividing every term with the coefficient of x squared, you realize that it is actually the same equation as before. You will still have the same solutions as before. It's just that if you sketch the graph, they are of a different graph. But having said that, the x-intercepts or the solution will remain the same. So from 2x squared minus 6x minus 10 equals 0, and if I divide every term with 2, then you realize that you are still balancing the equation, and this is still a valid quadratic equation as before. Now, then we do completing the square. We'll keep the first two terms. I will take the coefficient of x, divide by 2, squaring it, and if I add this value, I will minus away the same value so that the equation will still be balanced. And if you recall from the previous video, the first three terms will become the perfect square, and that will be x minus 3 over 2 holding square. And if I were to remind you again, the x and the x will be here, the minus 3 over 2 and the minus 3 over 2 will be coming down here. Then that's what makes it the perfect square. You can prove it using expansion by using one of the algebraic identities. And if you further simplify the last two terms, you will get minus 9 over 4 and minus 5 equals 0. So you will get x minus 3 over 2 holding square equals to 9 over 4 plus 5, but really 5 can be written as 20 over 4. So you will get 29 over 4 here. Now if I were to remove the square root, I will have a plus or minus square root 29 over 4, which can be further simplified into square root 29 over 2, because square root of 4 is going to be 2 with a plus or minus in the front. And you will end up with two equations, x minus 3 over 2 equals to positive 29 over 2, which give you x equals to square root 29 over 2 plus 3 over 2, which it's going to be square root 29 plus 3 over 2, or x minus 3 over 2 can be written as minus square root 29 over 2. X will be 3 over 2 minus square root 29 over 2, which if you combine them into a single fraction, it will be x equals to 3 minus square root 29 over 2. So these are the two solutions for this non-monic quadratic equation. That's all for now.